Good evening, everyone, to the Settle Town Council meeting on Monday, the 11th of January 2021. And before we start, a happy new year to everyone. Right, there'll be a public participation which is restricted to 15 minutes or more at the discretion of the chair. Have we anybody for public participation? If not, we can move swiftly on.
I don't know whether, I keep trying to admit, just a minute, David.
Yes,
I keep trying to admit Barry White, who is a member of the public.
Yes, right.
He was the one who made sent an email about an omission from the minutes about inviting a member of ACE to the Climate Working Party.
Yes.
So I'll keep clicking on admit him to the lobby, and he doesn't seem to be able to get in.
Do you want me to try? Because I can see it on mine.
Yeah, I've clicked the tick for admitting from the lobby.
Looks like he's in now.
I can see Barry White.
Yeah. Hi, Barry.
Hello. So can I now? Yeah, right.
Hi, Barry. Is there anything that you'd like to say now?
No, just took me through
to share.
No, thanks. No, only I had problems getting in, so hence my being a bit late.
No problems.
So you don't want to raise anything now, Barry?
No, you don't want to say anything now. That's okay.
Just listen.
Moving swiftly on, item 1 is apologies. We have Dan.
Councillor Balsamini.
Councillor Balsamini, Joe.
Councillor Lord.
And Kevin Harrison.
And Councillor Harrison.
Yes.
Okay.
Item 2, Code of Conduct. If there's anybody got a DPI, please put it in chat what the item is, and that'll be good. Item 3, policing to receive the monthly report. Has everybody seen it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Can we accept it and move on, unless anybody's got anything to share? Move on. Thank you. Item 4, minutes to approve the draft minutes of the meeting of the full town council meeting on Monday the 21st of December as a true record. Everybody read them?
Yes.
So there is an amendment to this.
Amend?
There's an amendment on page 418.
Right.
Minute reference VTC 2142.
Right.
Which is to add that it was agreed to invite a representative from ACE Settle area.
That's right. Does everybody accept the amendment? And if so, could you vote, please?
Do you want us to type it in the...
Yes, please, in the chat. Yeah. Thank you very much. Item 5, to receive county and district councillors' reports. Wendy, have you anything to share with us, please?
Right, my screens are completely frozen up. Much of what I wanted to talk to you about actually is on your agenda. Mainly, well, which is obviously the middle school, skate park, etc.
Yes.
A couple of planning things and the town centre review, which I thought was fascinating. I've also, which isn't directly on your agenda, been trying, unless it's come in now, to contact Richard Welsh as our county councillor to talk about the gritting in the town. I've been ringing in and chasing him, but I haven't heard anything unless you have done better. Are you still able to hear me?
Yes, we're still able to hear you.
I seem to be frozen up anyway, so I might just back out and try and log back in again, so apologies for that. So do you want me to pick up all of those as you get to them on your agenda?
Just like to share them now, it's fine.
Okay. In the middle school, I think exercise continues to exercise all of us. I had a call in to Paul Shevlin, Chief Executive of Craven District Council, well before Christmas, because as you know, we've got several schemes focused on that piece of land.
Yeah.
Because of the general confusion round about Christmas time, he wasn't able to get back to me. I've chased him today, and again, I've got the same problem. So annoyingly for all concerned, because I'm really worried if we all end up making sort of suboptimal decisions just in the context of us, none of us knowing any better. So as I say, I'll continue to chase, and obviously we'll contact you as and when I hear anything.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the gritting's been a problem for all of us in the town, particularly those of us who live up in Upper Settle, because when it was really bad, obviously, actually even just walking down to the co-op, and I was very mindful of a lot of people living even further up the road than I do, would find it extremely hard just to go and get some really basic things like milk and bread. Again, as I've already indicated, it's not council responsibility, but I wonder, if I'm really honest, whether we oughtn't to be doing, now my screen's gone completely off now, have I disappeared? Yes. I'll try and log in.
Hear you though.
You can hear me, right? I am wondering, I must admit, given all the pressures on all councils, including yourselves, obviously, whether we shouldn't be doing something a bit more localised in terms of immediate help with gritting or getting people easier access into the town. There is a grit bin outside the old school, as you know. The old school has a bit of a grit bin that the residents pay for, and I think there's something else further up, isn't there, as you go towards the Pinfold area. So I'll just leave.
You've gone off, Wendy.
I'm trying to admit another member of the public, and it's failing again, a bit like it did with Barry.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to, it's coming twice, and I keep clicking on it.
I've clicked on it once, Rebecca, just to see, but it's just buffering.
Yeah, it's saying action failed to me. Yeah. Oh, it's all those little icons showing.
Yeah, he's showing at the bottom there, isn't he? I don't know if he's actually with us.
Ian P.
Ian Preston.
Yeah.
Can you hear us? You're on mute. I think you're on mute.
Rebecca, it's Rafe here.
Yeah.
There's a new version of Teams out, and if you're still using the old version, you get all these weird, quirky things like we're experiencing. So
okay. I've clicked on updates when they've asked me to, but
yeah, I'm not saying it's you. It's probably struggling to join.
Right. Okay.
If you do manage to get in contact with you, ask them to get the latest download.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Right. We have lost Wendy. Can't hear her. Can't see her.
She might be trying to rejoin again.
Yeah, we'll wait a moment then.
So when Ian comes on board, Ian Preston is the gentleman who lives near Castleberg Crag, below the crag that I saw Mrs. Preston today, which I'll update you about. I don't know if he wants to say anything when he joins us.
Right, he can do that, yeah.
If I can. He's disappeared.
Doesn't seem to want to let him in, even if you click on his tick box on the participants list.
David seems to have disappeared.
Yeah, I've gone out now.
I think he's in now. I think he's in.
Yeah, it looks like he's in. He's just muted.
Ian, could you unmute for just a second? See if we can hear you.
Oh dear, I've gone out myself.
Yeah, it seems to be quite bad.
Yeah. You can hear me, can you?
Yeah. I can hear you, David, yeah. Ian Preston, can you hear us? It is a bit like a seance, isn't it?
Is there anybody
I'm
out
going to
there?
try and come back in.
I mean, if you want, at some point, if he does manage to join, if you want to pass the resolution to let him speak because of the difficulties, that's fine. No, nothing happening. Right, David, are you still?
I'm nearly there.
Right.
I've got everybody on. Have they got me?
And Wendy's disappeared.
Right.
There is some correspondence on salt bins that I've got through from county, which I sent out. I've replied to them and I sent out a response later on this afternoon. But we can deal with that under correspondence.
Yeah, I can't get anything here.
We can hear you, David, but I can't see you.
Right. Get speaker up. Yeah. Right. Get your picture up.
A little bit. It's not quite clear.
I can hear you now quite
Right.
loud. Get I'm on.
Okay.
I'm on. Yeah. I've gone onto the phone instead. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put the phone there. Right. Is Ian Preston on now then?
The icon is showing, but he hasn't spoken, so I don't know if you can just hear, whether he's just joining in to listen or not.
Right. We've lost Wendy as well, have we?
Come back.
Wendy's in the lobby. There you go, Wendy's back.
Oh, she's back.
All right. Carry on, Wendy, please.
Oh, right. Sorry about that, folks. The only other point on the planning approvals, or which isn't active at the moment, is the NatWest Bank. So just to reassure you, I am trying to keep a close eye on that one. I understand nothing further's happened on there. And then finally, obviously, I was really interested in the town centre survey. We look forward to hearing what gets said about that. I thought it was really very positive. Not all of it, obviously, is new. Some of us have been around too many times, but I thought it was a good effort, and there were some really interesting points came out, not only on the direct questions, but all the other bits and pieces that we picked up. So well done to everybody on that one. And not sure how far on your agenda it is, but I'll lay low. Thanks very much. Unless anybody wants to ask me anything.
Yeah. Does anybody want to ask anything of Wendy? No. Right. Moving swiftly on. Thank you very much, Wendy.
Yeah.
Item 6, matters relating to county, district and parish to receive and review the public survey results. Have you all had them? It was quite surprising. Question 2, do you support part or full pedestrianisation of the marketplace? 54% agreed.
I'm not surprised at that at all. I thought that would be a bit of a popular opinion.
Yeah, with 11 have no opinion whatsoever. Yeah. Question 3, do you support an electric charging point on the marketplace? 48% disagree, 11% have no opinion. So that was a bit of a shock to me, because I thought there was a very active thought about getting car chargers, but I think I
suppose if you're in favour of pedestrianisation, you're going to have an electric point on it. It's almost
it is
quid pro quo, as it were.
Yeah, I was going to say if we could get in touch with Craven District Council, as they had plans to put 2 charging points on the car park on, in fact, Whitefriars. So maybe we could chase them up a bit. Yeah.
I've made a note of that.
I think that was the comment, David, that people weren't against electric charging points. It was just on the marketplace. They wanted to see them in the bigger car parks that are dedicated car parks with more space for people waiting, etc. So that's
correct. I have seen that one. Yeah. Question 4, do you support the restoration of the fountain, water source, water bottle filling? Agreed. Is it 72%? I can't quite make it out there.
Yeah,
which is a good one. Yeah. Question 5, do you support a one-way system for, in fact, for the road surrounding the marketplace. 53% agree, 30% no opinion. Question 6, do you support widening the road at the end of the marketplace? 62% disagree. Question 7, do you support the improvements to Castleberg Crag? 79% agreed. Question 8, do you want to continue to support Settle swimming pool? 93% agreed. And question 9, do you support the proposed skate park, cycle, pump track, whatever, in Millennium Gardens? 62% agreed, 19 no opinion. What's everybody else's thought on that? If you have any.
I mean, there's probably two that stand. I mean, the swimming pool one's a bit of an odd one, isn't it? Because the swimming pool told us they're going to be self-sufficient in 2 years' time, so it would be a bit odd to use public funds to support a self-supporting organisation. And I guess the people responding to the survey probably don't know that bit of information. But I guess the two that kind of seem to get the strongest support really were the Castleberg Crag development, which seems logical, and also the skate. Actually, it's interesting that the skate park in the Millennium Garden got reasonable support. I mean, it is a relatively small survey, isn't it? How many returns were there?
There was a
about 380.
It was something around about. It was the high 300s. It's in the first analysis.
396.
Yeah.
396.
And then we've had about another 4, so we're looking at about 400.
Okay, so it's reasonable, but it's still reasonably small percentage. So I wasn't too sure about the. I mean, obviously there's a marginal balance in favour of the one way and the pedestrianisation, but it's not overwhelming. And I guess particularly with the pedestrianisation, I would particularly interested to see what the business sort of, what a business view on that would be, particularly given businesses have probably had a pretty hard time recently. And I don't really know whether pedestrianisation would be positive or negative on the businesses. It's difficult to say. So those would be my views. So I think, if we, particularly with the skate park, it kind of gives us to my mind, a reasonable steer towards Millennium Garden.
It does. And the pedestrian on the marketplace, I think a part pedestrianisation would be better than a full one. So we could still have part in there, things like that. Anybody else got any views, please?
I think it would be difficult to pedestrianise all of the market square because there are a lot of people within the community that perhaps are not as fit and able, that just literally pop in, park the car, nip in whatever shops they need and come back out again. And I think to remove that, I appreciate the fact that it was around about just over 50% in favour of it. But if all of a sudden all these people that are unable to walk down to the shops are then having to park on the other car parks and pay to park, then I think we'd end up with a lot of negative press for that, because we're taking away people's abilities to just quickly pop and use the shop. And I think what came out for me from the survey as well is a lot of people don't realise that we don't own the car parks and we have nothing to do with them, because a lot of the comments were, can local people have 2 hours free shopping? There was a couple of other comments about car parking, but I think it probably needs to be made clear that that is not our responsibility, because we seem to be getting the blame for
a lot of things.
The car parks not as accessible and that sort of thing.
Is it worth getting a small working party together to actually look further into these, do you think?
I think
just accept it and put it on a future agenda?
I think it might be worth collating a response to the survey, because we've asked everybody to complete it. We've paid
Yeah.
for the results. I think what we need to do is sit down, look at it all, maybe decide a way forward for each of the points raised, and then
Yeah.
publish something on our website and perhaps our Facebook page, so that it's shown that we have considered people's opinions, and we might not be moving forward with all of them, but
That's,
we need to be seen that we've taken some action and thought on it.
that's perfectly good sound thinking to me. Very much so. Who's that?
David, I'd like to know how many responses we had and how many surveys actually went out, because we didn't get one. The first time I saw the actual survey was today in the office. So I don't know how many people on this road didn't get them.
Right. Could I
So
ask?
is it an accurate picture of what people think?
Could I ask Rebecca that? How many went out?
So there were over 2,000. I think. Well, it was we had 2,500 produced. I think something like 2,170 went to. We gave them the list of all the streets and all the houses in Settle. They didn't deliver to lots and lots, and that was all out on Facebook. We went back round the places we told them about a dozen streets that they hadn't been round, and they went back out again the following weekend and did them. I would definitely not use the distributors again, obviously. We then posted out on Facebook, the website. It was in the library, it was in the town hall, and it was in the tourist information centre. So I'm not sure it did get to all over 2,000 people, but the majority of people should have had one, certainly with the second time round. Loads of people picked them up from outside the town hall, actually. We left a box there. Yeah. We had at least a few hundred go out of there. So it's always a difficult one to do something like this, unless you physically go around yourself and do it. But we might need to look at that in future about how we conduct surveys. And it was online. A lot of people did it online.
Could we ask people to send them in if they haven't sent them in, and put a deadline date on?
We did put a deadline on. It's on the Facebook and it was on the website.
Yeah.
I mean, if the other councillors agree, you can extend the deadline if you want more responses, because they're all out there now.
Yeah.
Although no, the monkey survey is closed. The Survey Monkey, sorry, is closed.
Yeah, closed now, so it's just those that haven't.
I can reopen it, but obviously we've paid a fee, and if we continue to extend the deadline, you're going to end up paying more and more as time goes on.
Yeah. Jenny?
Just on the car parking points, a couple of things. One would be that, as Debbie alluded to, people that aren't so able to park further away, I think it would be best to part pedestrianise it. Seems to be the appetite for most things, looking at the comments. Yeah. So maybe something like keep some spots over by Boots that will be available for parking and around the back of the shambles, but then at the front of the shambles and at the side of the town hall to keep that area as pedestrianised, I think would be a good solution. And the other thing, I know we don't own the other car parks and we don't have the deciding vote on them, but we can influence CDC and say that what we would like to do would be to implement something like we're doing Kirby Lonsdale with the 20p for the half an hour thing. So it's still, you still have to get a ticket so we know how long you've been there, but do something that's like a really cheap, 20p for an hour or something if you're just stopping and shopping. Yeah. Seems to work well in other places nearby.
Right. So to me, it sounds like there's a lot of discussion to be had yet. So is it possible that we form a small working party and all interested parties join it and have a good discussion to take forward to a further council meeting down the line? Yeah. Can I propose that then? If you'd like to put your yes or no in the chat, that'd be great.
Did it not just go to one of our subcommittees rather than creating another meeting?
Which one do you think we could put it in then, Robert?
I don't know.
What about markets and?
It should.
Yeah.
I
Market
think it's better to
services.
use the current structure we have rather than
Yeah.
creating more structure.
Okay, then that's more meetings, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Robert.
My
Gives
only
us something to
concern
do.
about park pedestrianisation is everybody's so used to driving into town, and if there's a spot on the marketplace other than a Tuesday, people pull the cars on. How are we going to police it, if you like? How are we going to make sure that people don't just park there anyway?
Something like chains that are removable for market day,
Yeah,
bollards and chains.
I'm just wondering if it would be difficult to actually enforce.
Well, I think that's all to further discussion
Yeah,
when
that's the rule.
yeah, to the meeting. And I would ask that all councillors put some thought into it and share the thoughts at that meeting. That'd be great. Yeah. So,
Is that going on the agenda for the 25th of January Market and Services Committee meeting then?
yes, please.
Sounds very timely.
Yeah. That's great.
So that's at 8 o'clock on the 25th of January.
25th of January, 8 o'clock.
Not everybody is a member of that committee.
No.
Everybody can attend if they wish, can't they?
Yeah.
You have the right to attend any.
Yeah.
Yes.
So more the merrier for that one then, please.
Okay.
Thank you. Skate park to receive an update and approved action required, but we've just heard from, in fact, Wednesday, where there is no news on that. But we have some news regarding the survey that within a majority of 62% that agree we put it there. So what's your thoughts there?
I would support that. I think we need to do something for these kids. And if we look at the vandalism that's taking place,
Right.
kids are bored. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a special time and they're not at school and all the rest of it. But the sooner they have something, because in Settle, okay, Giddles what they do, but in Settle we don't have a park. We have a couple of small playgrounds for kids, but nothing for teenagers.
Nothing that size, no. And I think that's what we've been trying to achieve for the last 3 years, 4 years on this one, but a long time before that. Yes, Robert, please.
I mean, I think putting it on our own land is much more attractive. We don't have, we're not, basically we're containing it within a cost structure that we already have, rather than presumably having to lease that land, presumably they're going to charge us a lease for it. And the other problem I always think about leases, they're great until you come to the end of the lease. And if you decide you don't want it anymore, you're then also faced with the bill of putting it back like it was, because that's what leases do. So I think if we could put it on our own land, it would be a good use of Millennium Gardens. It would potentially reduce the cost or the difficulty of maintaining that area and also contain it within the centre of the town. So to my mind, it seems, if people are comfortable with it, it seems a good location, and it seems better from the council's point of view to have it within our own owned land, rather than creating another lease and another set of access problems.
So is it worth skate park committee meeting up and taking it forward as far as possible at this time?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes. So could we organise a skate park meeting, Rebecca?
Yeah, so who, just remind me, because it's been a while, where I think you were on it, David.
Yeah.
Rafe, were you on it?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Right. Is there anybody else who was on it?
Was it
Joe on it?
I think I was on it as well.
Yeah.
Joe was
Yeah, Joe was on it, but I don't think we'll get Joe to it, will we now?
Not right now, no.
So we
Put
need
Tim on it. He's the only one who looks young enough to skateboard.
Tim.
I'll give it a try, Robert. I'll give it a try.
I think Charlotte wants to say something, David. I don't think you can
Yes,
see on
sure.
your phone, can you?
Please do. Come in.
Can I be a part of that, please?
Yeah. So,
If that's
So
not
you
bad.
look young enough as well.
does anybody else want to be on it, particularly?
I would like to be on that if I could.
Right, okay. That's plenty, because it means that you've got enough people. If somebody can't turn up, at least we've got a bank of 5 to work with. What I will do is I will invite the other members of the steering group, so who said they would help to get it off the ground again. So we've got can't remember the names now, but I'll get in touch with them. Anybody who was on the list before who was an interested party, and then we'll set up another steering group meeting.
That's good. That's great.
Okay.
Right. Item C, notice board to receive an alternative location for the notice board. Have you all seen the mock-up? And what do you think of it?
I thought it was a pretty good position for it, really. It doesn't interfere with the market, but it is just round the corner from the town hall entrance. And it's where it's proposed to go in, because it's going to be double-sided. It was easy for people to walk around it as well.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good position that was picked. And if Steve's happy with it as well, it's not going to interfere with the market, then that's good.
I've not seen that. Has anybody got it that be able to share screen and show me? Is it in that pack that I can't get in because I'm locked out of my account?
Right, hang on. Let me just see if I can find it. I'll try and share it on the screen. And where's it gone?
It's after the cycle stands, isn't it? Or before the cycle stands, yeah, wherever you're looking. Yeah.
Oh, look, I'm just checking because I don't look I've saved it. Just a minute. Right. So this is probably. Let me I'll just share my screen.
Don't laugh at the graphic, please.
Right. Can you see that? Can everybody see that?
Yeah. But it won't impede with the crossing either, will it? It's just far enough set over, isn't it?
Hang on. So that's the kind of traditional looking.
Yeah. Shape.
So there are 2 options actually. I've just realised we can keep the notice board. So that's the area without it on. Yeah. It'll be here. We have a notice board that is attached to the wall in the town hall.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not that old, and it's got Settle Town Council on, and it's got a key to unlock it and lock it.
Yeah.
We can move that and put it onto posts.
Yeah.
Or we can buy another one.
Which is a more viable option for costs.
I mean, we can have a look. I mean, to be honest, it's only, I don't know. I don't know if it's on brackets or what. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But you should be able to mount it on posts.
Yeah, wire ties. Yeah.
I don't know. What we can
screw
do
to the wall, it should screw to some posts, shouldn't it?
That's right.
That's what I'm thinking. So rather than spend a lot of money on a whole new, we just need to get posts and put it in place, because yes, it's not a traditional, Victorian looking notice board. However,
it'll still do the job. Yeah.
We've got window boxes all around and all sorts of stuff, but yeah, I don't know.
Right. All those in favour of doing that option, i.e. buying the posts and fitting it that way, could you put your yay or nay in the chat, please?
Yeah. I think that's agreed. So we will put it in that position and use the original one. If there's an issue with it, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, councillors. Item 7, planning applications 22254/HH, reinstate window opening and roof light, insertion of new roof light at 17 Castle Hill.
So I think, has Rafe gone?
Who's this for? Yeah, who's it for?
So Rafe needs to declare a DPI for this. He
Right.
asked me in the chat.
Can you do that, please, Ray?
So can I put somebody in a lobby, or how did we do it last time?
Rafe's left the meeting now, apparently.
Right, good, that's fine. So I'll make a note of that. So 1936.
Yeah.
Because he's got a DPI for this one. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Has anybody any objections to this? No, no objections. Could you put your yay or nay, please, in the chat?
So this is all yes to no objection.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Decisions, is there any? Rebecca?
Pardon?
Is there any decisions
There's
or?
no decisions. No, that's it. Should we ask Rafe to come back in?
Yes, please.
How do I do that? Has he gone completely? Where's he gone? Oh, he's back in.
Right, thank you.
Oh no, he's not. Well, I've given him a call, but
Yeah. Hopefully he
he
shall.
might just come. He might just come back on again in a minute. I don't know how to message him. I could message him on the.
Can you email him?
Yeah. Right.
Right, while you're doing that, item 8 is finance. A, check the market books and to receive the market reports for December 2020. I checked the books and all is correct. The market superintendent's comments. A new trader starts today. It's called Crusty Pies. Christmas tree on the marketplace. They had to move a couple of the sold round and made smaller ones. They had to reduce the rent to reflect this, so there was a loss of £11.50. 29th of the 12th. In fact, market closed as very little interest in attending for traders, and no food products will be able to obtain supplies. So it's not been a bad month, has it really? From what I can gather. Grand total is £1,461.50. Item B, to approve accounts for payment and to note receipts for December and January to date, which Councillor Yates did. Is there anything to add to that, Rebecca?
No, so December has been checked.
Yeah.
It was. I think it's on this one. Just let me find it. Yeah, there was a query on the pension contribution, which highlighted an issue in that the amount that was taken from the direct debit wasn't the same amount that the payroll software had produced, which then creates an account, creates a file. We then send that off. So I need to check why they've taken a different amount than what was in that. You just create a file and send it and upload it. So I need to go back and check that and see if we still owe something on that. It might be because we've now got the handyman and the assistant clerk on the smart pension, but it hasn't produced it obviously in that file. So it's highlighted something that we need to check.
Yeah.
The bank reconciles though, because that's the amount they took out. That is what we expected to come out, which was highlighted by Councillor Yates. And I think everything else was fine. We've had the VAT refund in. That's taken quite a while. That was outstanding for a bit. So I'm glad we've got that through. And we've still to do another quarter VAT refund as well. So we should be getting some more income back in for this next quarter.
Yeah.
So
Carry on.
That's December.
Thank you. Has everybody checked the accounts over, and is there anything they'd like to query themselves? Do you accept them then? Please put your yay or nay in the chat. Right, C, the review final draft of the budget for 21-22. Over to you, Rebecca, please.
So I've actually updated the latest one you will have received via email is the 4th draft, and that was the one before my report on. I looked at the IT and printing costs because when I looked at the spend up to date against the budget we'd set for this year, we were quite a bit out. So I had a look at what we could do to either make that not be as much. So what I did come up with was that we lease the printer copier.
Yeah.
I don't particularly find it any easier or any better than the printer scanner copier that we had before, which we just bought the cartridges for. Yeah. I think the thing that we probably didn't foresee was that as soon as you do any colour copying, the cost per month really shoots up. But we're paying £129.74 a quarter for this copier, and I don't see the point myself. So at the moment we're running at £880 a year. My recommendation is to, I mean, we're over out, we can get out of the lease now and go back to the scanner printer copy that we have. I've said how much the cartridges are. You can get compatibles, but it doesn't like it. It likes the HP originals. But also we do need to increase the budget a little bit, because decisions were made after these budgets. We made the decision to take on settle-free Wi-Fi. So we need to include that. So I'm suggesting we increase it by 500.
Yeah. Is there any penalty for ceasing the photocopier?
I don't think so. I remember discussing this before Ian went, and I think because we've had it over a year, we're out of the lease now.
Right.
I can check.
Right then, yeah.
If there's an issue with that.
Sorry, man.
So, as far as I'm aware, I don't think we are. I think we are out of the lease, and we should be fine.
Yeah.
But we'd have to find it from somewhere else for however long it takes us to get out of the lease.
Right.
But with only just realising it, I've actually had a chance to get in touch with them to find out. But I can check that for sure.
Yes, please.
But we do need to agree this budget, because I've already had my reminder from Craven to send in our preset request. We can leave it a bit longer. We can leave it till the 4th of February. Or you can decide on this one tonight.
So do we have a copy of that?
Yes, so it's in the pack. You know, In the
right.
cloud, in the councillor cloud, it's been updated.
Right,
Yeah.
sorry, thank you.
What's the final figure then?
The final figure is the precept would be 108,873, which is
And
less than
compared to last
1%.
Less than 1%.
Less than 1% increase on last year. If you look at the figures, we were looking at projected spend, and we've actually reduced our spend for next year. Given that we've had a loss, I don't think that's too bad. A massive loss on the market.
Yeah.
To come in at only just under 1%.
Hmm.
I mean, I would propose that we pass the budget.
Right.
We think we're at a, if we think we're at a final, there's nothing else to pop up, do you think?
Not that I'm aware of. I've had a really good look at everything. Well, from the beginning, we've tweaked a few things in terms of grants, and I can't think of anything else that we need to look at in terms of any increases, anything that's coming up in the future.
And you say the increase is what, marginally less than 1%?
Sorry, it's 0.98%.
Well done.
So it's very low. It's the lowest we've had for a long while. Yeah.
Good enough for me, that. I think we need to go.
So I would propose that we pass the budget so we can submit it on.
Before we do that,
sorry, go on.
Are we aware of that increased budget of £500 to cover decisions to take on settle-free Wi-Fi? Do we put that onto the budget?
Yeah, that's included in that 18.
Is that included? Right.
Oh, sorry, 108,873 includes the £500 for settle-free Wi-Fi.
That's okay then. No
Yeah.
problem.
Rebecca, are we getting a bit of money from? Was it from Jeremy? He was paying us some back towards the free Wi-Fi, wasn't he? I didn't.
Yeah.
This is our. So this is our, that the £420 is our contribution to it. He's paying the other lot. We're doing 50-50.
Oh, that's fine then. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't spot that. Yeah, that's fine then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I propose that we accept Rebecca's recommendation vis-a-vis IT, and that we approve and we incorporate that in the budget, and we approve the budget.
Can I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
Right, thank you. Could you all put your little yay or nay, please, in the chat? Has that passed, Rebecca?
No. Yeah, we've got enough. Yeah.
Good. Thank you. Item 9, climate change. To receive an update on matters relating to climate change proposal. Can I pass this over to you, please? Yeah, Rebecca.
No. I haven't written the report.
Oh, right. Yeah, there's a big report here about things they expect, things that we said we'd do. As a town council, we will include substantiability, carbon reduction and ethical sourcing within all town council decisions, including awarding contracts, grants and determining funding allocation in future. Initiate our neighbourhood development plan to include our strategy of medium to long-term climate actions at its source. Include considerations of carbon emissions and mitigation strategies, sustainability of development and design, and green infrastructures needs in our planning decisions. And it goes on and on. As a town council, we will work with North Yorkshire County Council to measure and to manage the carbon footprint of staff and town council. endeavour to provide information and assistance to anyone seeking to reduce their carbon footprint, develop our DMP to include our strategy for medium to long-term climate actions at its core, act as a hub for community projects focusing on the reduction or mitigation of carbon emissions in our area, supplying small funding if appropriate, organise energy saving advice surgeries for the local community, identify support or development local clean energy projects, aim to stop using weed killers and other chemicals in green spaces, roadsides and pathways, explore natural methods of weed suppression or allied weeds to thrive and enjoy them. Many are beautiful and important sources of food for wildlife. Encourage allotment holders to use natural methods of pest control on their plots. Make public access such as open spaces and play areas more natural, needless and needing less maintenance. Act on behalf of Settletown community to lobby for change at local, national and international level to reduce carbon emissions and promote projects to allow this to be done. Installation of electric car charging points in consultation with the community. Suitable locations are being explored for the location of such facilities. North Yorkshire County Council to be approached regarding possible locations on car parks controlled by the authority. Ongoing development of Castleberg as a recreational area for residents and visitors. This includes the planting of trees and management of the existing flora and fauna. And regular monitoring. A request has been made to Craven DC Environmental Health Departments to review and assess the quality of outdoor area in Settle. And finally, water fountain in the marketplace with the support of Heritage Lottery, and it's proposed to provide access to drinking water via the listed fountain on the marketplace. Do you accept that? And could we bring is it Barry White in or Ian Preston?
No, Ian Preston's not for climate change, David.
Who is it?
So this report was produced by Councillor Yates, which was circulated.
Yeah.
So we agreed that we would set up a climate change party.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that I was sending out an email to ask people who wanted to be on it. So that only went out today. Yeah. But if anybody wants to nominate themselves this evening, then we can start the ball rolling and looking at this plan in more detail.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming Councillor Yates, who's written this report, would be interested in being part of that group.
Anybody else? Come on, councillors.
Yeah, I'd be keen on that one.
You, Robert?
I'd like to do that as well if I could.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tim.
Okay.
Waiting for Jenny.
Just
I'll now put myself forward, please. Yeah, Rebecca. I did send you.
Yes, yeah, I've got that.
Thank you.
So there are a few things in this report which obviously Councillor Yates, as a new councillor, wasn't aware of, but
yeah.
So for example, grants, this following the 2021-22 we've suspended grants, so we could put that in as a it depends what the length of this plan is. Is it going to be a 3 or 5 year plan, a one so short, mid, long term? We could look at that. We do need to work quite closely with Craven and the North Yorkshire County Council, and I think the starting point is the audit. From what I've gathered from information I receive from this report and other stuff, there's so much information out there. but the expertise lies with groups like ACE, who are already looking at all of this stuff. And I think in order to get them on board with a group of councillors and go through a few of these proposals and start to kind of develop it a bit more,
of course.
would certainly help. I mean, we've set ourselves a few targets specifically as a town council, but I think we need to know where we're starting from. We need to know, it's all right of saying we're going to reduce our carbon emissions, but we need to know what our starting point is. So I think we need help with that as well. Now, I have heard that North Yorkshire County Council are trying to work with YLCA and with local parishes to do that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm happy to find out how we need to do that and get involved or get somebody to come along, either to have a virtual meeting with us or give us some information and tell us how we go about doing it.
Yeah.
Because that's the bit I don't know. This is a massive learning curve for me, and it really needs people who know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm there to minute, take notes. I will look up stuff, produce reports, etc. But I think the actual drive and progress and for it is to come from the councillors plus support from County Council and ACE.
Yeah. So we need to encourage ACE to join the meetings too then, don't we?
So yeah, I will. I mean, I do invite them to the town council meetings. I have updated them to say we are looking at this report tonight. So I can certainly, and Barry will probably be in touch with them, but I can certainly send this report off if agreed by the council as just a starting point, and that we will be setting up a steering group. And I think they're waiting for our invite basically.
Yeah.
So once we do that, we can have a virtual meeting. But I also suggest that if anybody's available to go to the ACE, the Green Cafe, anybody specifically interested should try and join. It doesn't have to be one person, it can be more than one, and just see what they're discussing at those meetings and how that ties in with what we may or can do to support them, or that we can do ourselves as a town council.
Yeah. That's correct, Rebecca.
So if you want to just propose, so we've already agreed that we want to ask a representative from the last minutes. We've now got 4 councillors who are interested in being on the group. So I can set up a meeting, look at some terms of reference, circulate this document, and get the ball rolling on it, and see if I can get some information from county or YLCA about how we go about an audit.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Are all councillors in favour of that? Please give your thumbs up. Or councillor.
Can I just say that before it goes anywhere, Rebecca, I'd quite like to see our council, look at what I wrote, because I took that as a template from another council in a different part of the country. There might well be something in there that's completely off the wall or ridiculous.
Right.
So I would rather that we were all singing from the same hymn sheet when we get there.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think I agree that it should go to the other groups, but I think it needs to be looked at by this group first, so that we're all talking about the same thing, if we agree with it, because there might be something in there that people disagree with. It's a bit sort of climate police. It said everybody reduced their carbon footprint by going shorter distances on holiday. Well, I'm not going to sign up for that. I'll sign up for a lot of other things, but not that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can I propose that we actually meet first as a council, and then from that meeting we'll take it forward.
So is this the meeting of the group? So Councillor Yates, Belfield, Oliver, and yourself, David Taylor. Yeah.
Yes. Just to pick through it, and then we've got more idea of what's feasible, what isn't, and then take it to the other groups. Yeah.
Okay.
All those in favour of that, yay or nay? And can I say a big thank you to Councillor Yates for putting that together for us, please? Have I the council's permission to go back to finance, please? I forgot something. If that's okay. Yeah. Right. Do you want to leave right now, Rebecca, or are you all right?
We've already agreed the budget, Chairman.
Yeah.
So if you want to discuss something
Yeah.
relating to that will affect the budget,
Yeah.
you've already made a decision.
Yeah.
I think if you want to, what I think you want to discuss,
Yeah.
I think it'll have to go to another meeting. There's no rush.
No.
You can't go back now. It's the time, the moment's gone. So
share it, and then we could go to some other meeting then. Yeah.
So we can, I can agenda it specifically for another meeting.
Yeah, that's all right.
Is that okay? There is no rush. It's
No.
not.
Yeah, thank you.
It'll probably go on to the next AFS committee.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right, item 10, Castleberg Crag A, to receive an update from councillors who attended the site meeting, the site regarding the assessment, the new assessment, a risk assessment.
Yeah, sorry about that. I said I would go up this weekend,
Yeah.
and I totally didn't, because I basically forgot. So I do apologise, but I've
Nope.
dropped that one.
Councillor Yates went up. I've been up today, and I concur that. Do you want me to read through it?
So, I mean, well, there's some comments from Councillor Yates, who's already submitted those in,
That's
and both myself and the assistant went up as well.
Yeah.
And you've been up today, haven't you, David?
Oh, yeah.
So I went. I think. Did you take up your list?
No, because I've not got a photocopier, so I couldn't copy it, and
Right.
then start.
Okay.
that.
So everybody's received a copy of this, the back page of the site, the risk assessment, which is a checklist. So we want to do two things really. One is to review this risk assessment. Is it sufficient enough for what we want? Is it still fit for purpose? And the second is to go through some of the comments. I mean, I can go through a few just to summarise, because I think they're the same as Councillor Yates came up with. And then I do have a recommendation once we've had a look at it. So the first thing is it's just a 36 question tick box.
Yeah.
And some of the questions. So are the boundary walls and fences safe? Yeah, fine. Are paths identified? Yes.
Yeah.
There is no geographical map though. There's no map at the bottom saying these are all the paths.
Yeah.
Are the paths clear of obstruction? Are they suitable? I'm not sure quite what they mean by suitable. Do you want to speak first, Pete, before I continue?
I went up again this afternoon because there was a bit I wanted to look at behind the old Dray house or the barn.
Yeah.
The wall on the very far side, the southern end, needs repair. So off that, I suppose you call it a permissive path. It's not one that's not used very much. The rest of them were fine.
Yeah.
That was just what I wanted to add to the to the list. And also behind where those houses are, the barn and the Dray house. So in the area that's next to the Zion Church, somebody's been clearing trees.
So the council cleared those trees and the wood was left for the resident, because otherwise they'd have had to charge us for taking it off site.
Yeah. Well, that's where I think the problem has occurred. For someone has left that so that kids or anybody can climb over that wall back onto the road from there.
What, by clearing the trees?
No, where the wall comes down.
Yeah.
There's a big patch where the trees were all cut up. Yeah. Some of those bits of trees have fallen down against the buildings at the bottom. And then someone has put a plank across the gap so you could balance your way across and get back out onto the road. So some I suspect kids have been adventure playground.
Okay, I didn't see the plank. Okay. Right. So that's an area that we need to look at in more detail then to see what's happening there. Myself and Katie met with Mrs. Preston and we discussed what they were doing there because they need access to the back of their property to be able to maintain it. So, and that area is a lot clearer than it was because of the trees being removed. After discussion, there were two things that sprung to my mind and Katie's were, it would possibly be better not to encourage people to go that way because it's not really part of Castleberg Crag itself. There is a little path, but it would probably be better to reduce the number of people going there by some sort of sculpture or something there and leave that to be just a wildlife area. And it's not accessible because there's plenty of other paths and places to go on Castleberg without going back there at the back of the houses and over that and near that wall. And I would suggest that we use that as an area for wildlife, but not necessarily prohibit, but discourage anybody going across there because the path is really near the edge of the banking. I won't like anybody to be walking along there particularly. So that's something we can look at when we start looking at the path structure. So if we make notes about areas of the site that are problematic and that goes into the design when we look at it. And in the meantime, we might need to do something in the interim.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got a note about that. And I've said to the owners of the house that's just below that we will liaise with them when we get to the point where we're doing something or anything at all. So we're aware of the issues, we've talked to them, and we can include that in anything we do in the future. That would be my recommendation for now. I mean, I don't know how soon you want to put in place something where we're discouraging people, whether to put some sort of something there. We can easily get the handyman. I don't know if you went down the Tot Lord Trail, they've got like some wooden posts with a barrier across the top, and it doesn't stop people getting under and going through, but it's just a barrier. And it could just say wildlife area, please leave alone or something, just to discourage people from going up that way.
Yep, good idea.
And we could do that as an immediate action.
Yeah.
Yes.
To then, stop people wandering up there. So do you want to somebody to propose that? Yeah,
I'll propose that. That path is not off limits, but
discouraged,
advised.
So an advisory.
Yeah.
And put some sort of natural barrier up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also to fix the wall.
And repair the wall.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So
those two.
Do
you want to vote on those?
Please vote. Thank you.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, that's enough, isn't it?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll just carry on through the actual assessment.
Yeah, please do.
So it's same thing. So we've got our all accessible areas safe, not slippery. You see, when it's wet, it is slippery.
Yeah.
I don't think you can make it safe. So I think I'd quite like to do is work on this document and put forward a different list of checklist.
Yeah.
We have what's called iAuditor that the handyman uses for doing the play area inspections.
Right.
And what we can do is if we produce a list of questions, he can attach photos and he can add this to his schedule of inspections. So we know that Castleberg's checked on a weekly basis, just the same as the play area. And then at least we will get to know straight away if there's anything untoward. And also it may discourage some of the more antisocial aspects that go on Castleberg, because that's what we get complaints about. So if you're happy to give me permission to change this sheet, produce some different questions or similar questions, but probably a bit more succinct, and then recommend that we put it on the Handyman's Eye Auditor. That
Yeah.
would incur probably another hour a week for him.
And sorry, can somebody propose that then, please, and we shall vote on it. Jenny, Robert, do you want to?
I'll propose that. So propose that we delegate to Rebecca to update the list of questions and add it to Gwynn's duties. Yeah.
All those in favour, please vote. Thank you. Is that okay, Rebecca? Has that passed?
So that's yeah.
That's good. Right.
There's a bit more to this now, though. So
Yep.
we received a letter which we need to agree a response to. So from my point of view, I would certainly be saying that we have reviewed the risk assessment. It is inspected on a regular basis. I think the main issue is these sticks and stumps that are sticking up. From the photographs, there are only a few that are near the path. They're not on the path, they are near it.
Those two, yeah.
I would recommend we get the handyman to chop those down, those little ones that are kind of about, they're not very thick, they're just like little things.
There's
Just
a problem
so
with
the
that,
path's
though.
clear.
Because if we do that, they are just going to grow back again. We're almost at the point where we need to actually just let them grow so they become less of a hazard.
I don't know whether they will grow or not.
They look.
I don't think they're dead.
They do look in a bad way. Yeah. I think in some respects they've been too far down. Yeah.
Or the other alternative is to go back to Treetops, who did the work, and say, can you tidy up? Tell us whether you can, because what they can do is they can grind that stump and then it will not grow back. Stump grind. It's stump grind.
But they could take it down and paint something on it, can't they?
Yes. Yeah. So the ones that are very near the path. I'm not talking about the bush part of the bushes that are either side.
The little thin stumps.
The other ones are just to the left of the path. They seem to be the most prominent, nearest to the path. That, you know, if somebody just went slightly to the left, they'd catch themselves on.
I've nearly tripped over them myself, but you know, you just have to take a bit of care when you're up there, don't you? But you do have to take a bit of care when you're up there. It isn't a risk-free area.
Yeah.
Those paths, those stumps, though, are where the bushes were, which naturally contained the paths before. You went up between the bushes.
You did.
And that was actually a very good safety feature up there, because you couldn't go very far off that path. And I would be with Jenny about getting them to grow again, to keep that path narrow, to keep people to one area. Otherwise, we're going to create another problem of a much wider path with a lot more erosion.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it worth actually doing a review on these little tree stumps, say, in a couple of months? Because the reason I'm suggesting that is if there is going to be any new growth on them, it will be happening by then. And if they are growing, leave them alone. If they're not growing, decide what we're going to do about them.
Got to replant. Yeah.
So by the end of March.
Yeah.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll
review by the end of March to see if there's growth.
If there's growth, yeah.
And if there's not, I'll report back.
Yeah.
And then we'll make a decision about the stumps.
Yeah.
Well, Jenny's having a wander up there most days, aren't you, Jenny? So you can keep an eye on them. We'll get pictures of little green shoots.
Glenn will be going up there weekly anyway. If he does the whole area, I mean, he litter picks and he moves the bins. Yeah. He'll be able to do a more thorough inspection with the eye auditor.
Yeah.
So the other thing is they were talking about the bushes that have been removed and about the climbing. I think they've misunderstood the climbing. It said that we were going to be developing climbing. We're not developing climbing. The climbing's already been there. I will respond.
Yeah.
Has the old metal bin spike been removed? Sorry, I've just got a question from Councillor Catherwood. Has the old metal bin spike been removed? I don't know where that is, and I'd never spotted it, Rafe. Where is it?
I haven't been up in the last week or two, but last year I reported that as you go up the first path, where the bin is, I think, just further to the right is the old, very sharp, nasty, rusty spike sticking out of the ground.
Is that right?
It's about 6 inches high, and I thought it was really dangerous, so I put some rocks over it and did report it to the council.
Oh, I can't see it.
I'll get Glyn to go up and do that as a priority.
Thank you.
I've not seen it.
I've not noticed it. Yeah.
I know that well, when I went up, there was a few fresh rocks that had fallen off.
Where?
From the crag itself, front of it. Yeah. There's quite a big one fallen off and some smaller ones. Yeah, you can see it. Yeah, where it's actually come away.
So they've fallen off at the bottom of the crag?
Yeah, well, if you go to the sign on the crag, and if you look up, it's about 15 foot up there. There's a big piece come off, and some smaller ones.
Right. So what do you want to do about that, David?
It was just a statement saying that there had been some fallen off, and just keep your eye on it. That's all, really.
Have those come off recently?
It looks like it's quite new, yeah.
Could be frost action, couldn't it?
Could be, yeah.
Okay. So the only other thing after this risk assessment that we reviewed and looked at would be where you enter from where you can either leave the site into the Top Lord Trail or enter from the Top Lord Trail. There is nothing to say either way, sort of the difficulty that you will come across, and it was whether you wanted to add an additional signage about keep to the path. If you don't, because you've got to be able to climb down those big rocks on the right. So you either go, at that point, you either go through the Top Lord Trail,
yeah,
or you go back, or if you feel comfortable, you carry on. And there needs to be some sort of information there about an advisory note about that. I think Councillor Watson wants to say something.
I think that's something that I would definitely go with. It's just to advise people that if you're able-bodied, it's fine. If not, go the other way. Yeah, not in those terms.
So
if you put something together and then send it.
So if I produce a draft of some sort of signage for that area.
Yeah.
I think Councillor Rockcliffe wants to say something. David.
Yeah, please come in.
Yeah, just agreeing with that point. I went up there with my toddler, and obviously I don't know around here, and we ended up going down those rocks. There's nowhere else to go. So I think it would have been useful if I'd known there was another one.
Right. Thank you for that.
Right. So so that there's some indication there.
Yeah.
The other thing, which is something for whether it's part of the phase or for the future, at the bottom of the Top Lord Trail, there is actually a map of the site with numbers on, and it says things like, wildlife area, keep away, something about this bit steep. There's nothing like that at the bottom of Castleberg once you enter the site. Until you start exploring the paths, there's no overall site map. So we've got some lovely interpretation panels.
We have.
Now, I seem to remember that the officer from Stories in Stone, Yorkshire Dales Millennium Trust, I thought she was producing something like that, like a gateway sign.
Yeah.
I've not seen that yet, so I'm going to try and find out if that's still possible within her remit, within her budget. And if not, we might need to think of producing something ourselves along the lines of the Top Lord bit, which is right at the bottom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I haven't heard anything from the sign people, so I need to chase them about when they're going to install the panoramic panel and the other interpretation panels. So are you happy for me, given some of the decisions that have just been made, Are you happy for me to draft a response and circulate
For those in
to this
favour,
letter?
say yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Rebecca.
So let's just, have we covered everything then?
Yeah, on that.
So I think when we've covered that, and we've covered about the Dray House as well, about for Mr and Mrs Preston, so I can let them know. I'll confirm in writing so they know what the agreement was in the end. Okay. So we're on now 12.
Number 11, to receive and respond to correspondence.
Oh, 11, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple of things. One is the salt bins.
Yeah.
If I can find the response. I want to just. Oh, it's that. So we've had quite a lot of comment on Settle Chat, although they don't seem to want to request or speak to people on Settle Town Council Facebook. They just want to say things on Settle Chat. But one of the ladies has contacted County Council after I responded, saying that they have a list of salt bins. I told her which ones they were. They'd been assessed, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 salt bins in Settle belong to North Yorkshire County Council, and 1 is ours on the marketplace. I've subsequently received an email back from somebody in Highways who has said one of them is and one of them isn't, but I think it's because he doesn't know where they are. So I've emailed a comprehensive response back. I mean, I might be mistaken, but the description is Constitution Hill junction with Castleberg Lane, and he said yes, that's NYCC owned. And then there's another one on Castleberg Lane, School Hill. And because it says bottom by church,
yeah,
I think that's thrown them. It actually means the Zion Congregational Church, which isn't actually used anymore. And I think they don't believe that that belongs to them, but I think it does.
Right.
And obviously I copied Councillor Richard Welsh in, so I'll wait and get a response from that. So I've actually dealt with a bit about the query about what bins there are, but in Settle there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 bins that North Yorkshire County Council fill for Settle. And if you actually look at the maps of where they are, it's only a certain area just away from the marketplace. And I don't even know if there's one further up Upper Settle. And they have a criteria that you need to fill in that they will assess. If you say we think we need one here, they will assess it and and give it a scoring, and if it gets a score of over 100, they will look at it. So I don't know what anybody has any thoughts about salt bins, but we see they don't do by the court where that gentleman fell. You know, that was the main reason for concern, I think, was in front of the co-op.
That's right. And I think Mill Close got quite bad, didn't it, with ice, but I don't think there's a grit bin down there, is there?
No.
No.
The bit near the post office is quite bad because the pavement's so slanted that it's quite steep. And when that's slippy, that's always treacherous. But I don't know, it's a pavement. I just think there's nothing really we can do about it.
No.
This is, I mean, with the budget cuts, North Yorkshire County Council don't do any footpaths at all.
No. Well, they used to do, didn't they?
They only do priority roads, the main roads, that's all they do.
Yeah, roads.
As a community group, people can get together and say, we want one here, and then they can do it themselves. There's some information on the County Council website about community partnerships, where people basically do it themselves.
Yeah, and there was a few responses about that as well, doing it ourselves, but I'll leave it. Yeah.
So
Is it worth putting an update on our Facebook page and our website just to confirm which bins we're responsible for, which bins are North Yorkshire County Council? Give the link to North Yorkshire County Council and also give the link to this community thing, whereas if you want a grit bin, contact North Yorkshire. But then at least we've been seen then to have addressed the problem to the best of our ability.
I was thinking about putting it on a map and putting it on and showing them where they are.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a map. They have a list, but it's a very old list.
Yeah.
But if we put all the information about, well, these are our bins and we'll maintain those and make sure they're full. These are the responsibilities.
We only have one on the marketplace.
Yeah. So then if we put all the information about who to contact at North Yorkshire and the possibility of getting a community one, we've passed on all the information that we've found.
Yeah.
Which will go some way to appeasing, won't it?
Yeah. Our Facebook page and our website, and then at least when they're all blaming the council, they can blame North Yorkshire, not us.
Yeah.
Should we not make that wider? Should we not make that wider? And people are always, now they know I'm on the council, they're always telling me about what we've not done. And I tell them it's nothing to do with us. It's North Yorkshire.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying to put it on to say we appreciate there's been lots of concern about pavements not being gritted. There's been blah, blah, blah. This is what we can do, and this is who to contact if you want something more doing.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I think we should make it wider and say these are the things that the town council can do, and these are the things that are North Yorkshire. I mean,
we've done that.
We've got on the website. We've produced
one at a time, please.
There's a leaflet that was produced of what Settled does, what Craven does, and what North Yorkshire do. And in fact, I think Rebecca published it on Settled Chat.
I mean, I can reissue it and pin it to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, that's fine, we can do that. And then we've got another one. I don't know how to send myself out. I think I can just come out of the meeting. So I've had a letter from myself. From Long Preston Hellifield Guides, asking, it was actually one of the guide leader who asked me to send it through to you, asking for the guide flag on Castleberg for Thinking Day on the 22nd of Feb, and for it to be an annual flag flying thing, and could they have it up for a week? So I'm happy to take myself out of the meeting.
Yeah.
If I take myself out, it'll still carry on, won't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I received the email as well, and they want to fly the flag once per year, well, now for 2 weeks, from the 22nd of February for a week, sorry, and they want it to be flown annually in future. So what's your views on that?
Do we know if the Scouts ever apply to us to have a flag flown off Castleberg or anything?
Not as I know of, Debbie, not as I know of.
I'm just, obviously, because we do all the commemorative days.
That's
that
right.
are relevant. My concern with it be, I think it's a lovely idea. However, did we turn somebody down recently that wanted to fly a flag because we said we were just going to stick to the main commemorative days? Can't remember what it was. I know we'll get the flower pot flag.
It was for that Rainbow Town thing. Never really.
Thank you, Jen. And we actually said no to that because
we asked for more information. We didn't actually say no. We asked for like an image of what the flag would look like and how long they wanted it for, and I don't think we got a response.
I think it's started to death a little bit, that the Rainbow Town initiative, hasn't it? But I'm just wondering how we then. Well, part of me feels we should support it, but part of me feels it would be more difficult to turn down other people that wanted a flag flying for something other than our national commemorative events, which we really do.
Yeah, it could be we're setting a precedent by letting it happen, but then again, because of the lockdown and the way things are, we have to encourage all these groups to continue to actually meet. And
they have done the litter picking for us.
Pardon? Say again, Jenny.
They've done the litter picking as well, haven't they? So they contribute to us. So I would have no objection to it.
Yeah, I think I'd support it this time and maybe look at it for future.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree to it permanent like every year, but Do it this year and review for next year.
Yeah, can't we? Yeah.
So rather than being an annual event, shall we say we're very happy to look at it on a year by year basis of the approaches?
Yeah. All those in favour of that, please put it in the chat. Or even wave so that I know it's gone through, because well, Rebecca's not there to tell me. Yeah.
Oh, is Katie gone to get Rebecca back?
Yeah.
Yes. Hello, Rebecca. Unmute, unmute. Rebecca, unmute. No, she's not unmuting yet, is she?
Sorry.
There you go. We have discussed it, and at this present time, we will let it fly from the 22nd of February for a week, but we will look at it annually as what we're thinking. Maybe it could set a precedent with other people wanting to do it, i.e. the Scouts and different groups. So because they have done things, they've been littering, picking, and we have the lockdown, and we've got to support it for this time, definitely. But we look at it in fact future dates. All right.
Yep, that's fine. Thank you.
Great. Anything else in fact correspondence?
White Rose, wasn't there?
White Rose update, yeah.
Oh yes, there's I don't know if anybody looked at the training programme.
Yes.
Anybody who wants to get a bit more information on climate change, there's a Friends of the Earth webinar tomorrow at, what time is it?
2 p.m.
2 o'clock tomorrow. It's £15, but I'm assuming there might be some more up-to-date information about how parish councils can go about their climate change plans and proposals. So I don't know if anybody else wants to join. I thought it might be a good idea if Katie joins it, so that she's got some understanding of the issues. Does anybody else? If you want to join, you can register direct. Yeah. And we do still have a few 15 quids in the budget for the training, if you want to do that.
Well, I've got one Wednesday, so that's a 3-hour one. So.
All right, no, okay.
Right. Item 12 is to receive information and reports from councillors on their attendance at other meetings not already covered in this agenda. Anybody done anything anywhere? No. Moving swiftly on. Future agenda items then, please. Anybody got any? No agenda items?
Presumably will the group looking at the survey results, that's going to a markets committee, isn't it? So presumably we could have a report specific to the outcomes discussion of the survey, rather than just, because otherwise it might get hidden in the minutes of that meeting rather than being a specific agenda item.
Okay. So agenda item for Feb is going to be the survey results outcomes from the market committee meeting as a separate item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else? Last call. Item 14 is dates of next meetings, which is there. And if there is nothing else, I close the meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you all for attending.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah, goodbye now. Thank you. Oh, I wish I could do that. Done it again. Trying to get out of it. Come on. Trying to get out of this. Come on.